Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. We're going to have a fun one today with the Beach Boys and Brian Wilson, and I've got a lot to tell you. We go back 30 years or so, and over a lot of things have gone on in Brian's life. But today they are honoring Brian with a documentary made by Walt Disney. And so Disney called me and they wanted to use some of my pictures. And so we got them out. And so I thought, well, gee, since we've got them out, why don't we do a YouTube or a piece about my experiences with Brian and the Beach Boys, which were always very, very pleasant. The Beach Boys are a positive group. They aren't angry and they're not upset about anything. They've got $50 million over the years, and they've done really well with their music, especially Brian's compositions and his writing and his music are admired by many, many groups around the world, especially the Beatles were inspired by many of Brian's songs. And so the focus today, though, with me is going to be on Brian. And so these are some of the shots. This shot here and this shot is with Brian, who had just come out of like a period where he'd been working too hard and he had a little nervous condition, and like we all get when we work too hard. And they employed a special kind of doctor, his name was Landry, to get Brian kind of stabilized, restabilized, and so that he could kind of get a new refocus on his life. And so I want to tell you a little bit more about that, but for right now, let me go on with the photos. This is a great shot that we did the same session with me here and Brian and the group. As I said, they're all really friendly. A lot of rock groups, by the way, and rap groups are angry and they're upset about things and all. But the Beach Boys are not upset about anything. They've written songs about surfing and California girls and all sorts of things that are real positive, fun things with the cars. A lot of it is centered around Santa Monica and the surf and happy days, really. And so it's been a real pleasure working with Brian and the Beach Boys over the years. And so let me just identify some of the members of the group. Well, first of all, here's Brian, and he grew a beard, and so he's kind of getting that kind of grunge look. But this is now after he's all cleaned up and happy. He's a new Brian here. These are taken in 1987. And so this is Mike Love, who also participated in writing a lot of the songs and with Brian. And so Mike is here. He usually wears a hat, and that's Mike. Carl Wilson is not with us anymore, but he was a real good participant in the Beach Boys music, and everybody loved Carl, but he had a little health issue, and so he's passed on. And this is Bruce Johnson, who was also a member of the band, real happy-looking guy like the guy next door. And Al Jardine was also a great member and has been with the band for many, many years. And so, okay, so those are the members of the band from '87. And so a lot of their music is very well liked. It's about, again, as I said, about, loving in the California and the surf and all that. And so, but now bringing us more up to current period with Brian. And so Brian now, these pictures were taken in 2007 of Brian. Now he's got a new look. He's got a new home. These pictures that we're going to show you, this sequence, were done in Chicago where Brian's got his own recording studio downstairs. And I got a chance to go back there and do some filming for him, but for the record company. And this obviously is a real new look for Brian. He's still the serious musician, even though he's written about such happy music. This is a serious side of Brian. And so now we take you into the recording studio where Brian has been experimenting with his new sounds. And this one involves a mixing console that has 4 different sections where he can individually mix 4 different parts of the band. And he's very successful with this, but maybe not commercially successful. But this is good old Brian there, who's feeling right at home with his consoles and everything. And so Brian and I became really good friends. You know, he kind of trusted me in guiding him in the right direction. And I really love Brian. You know, I can relate to what Brian's gone through, working real hard and pushing yourself to the max. A lot of us do that. We kind of push ourselves to the point where maybe we are endangering our health. So here's another one we did in his recording studio of him actually recording a song. And so we have to watch that, fellow fans of my channel, is don't work too hard. We can, you know, our body can only handle so much. But here's Brian with his piano. He's quite a pianist. And here's another shot of Brian at a tribute that they had for his songs and his music. And here's Brian dressed up, looking really dapper. And so a lot of the songs you may remember are California Girl, Surfer Girl, and a great many really wonderful tunes that, as I said, Paul McCartney said that Brian Wilson has been his music and his harmonies, which are very complicated, were an influence on the Beatles' music. Anyway, here's a shot of Brian and I at the end of a session. And so Brian's a new man here now. And so I really admire Brian for what he's done. They printed out at least 50 record albums, and they're still working together quite a bit. And so this is an insight into my experiences with Brian Wilson, and I'm glad that you could come along with me. If you have any questions, you know, write me at my email address at click@earthlink.net, and subscribe to my channel and give me thumbs ups. And so I really look forward to the next session that we're going to do. And so thanks for coming with me again today, you guys. And I love you all. Goodbye.